Ecclesia Sancta, our charism is to live and promote the vocation to holiness. And so in a way, our charism is to take everything that God entrusts to us, whether it is in an area of the house, a ministry in the parish, or the souls that come to us for assistance, and to orient and direct it back to God.
One of the primary meanings of the word holiness is to be set apart for God. And that's what a consecrated religious is. He or she is set apart for God. All his time, all his talent, his energy is dedicated to God and to his service.
Before Christ in the Eucharist, we offer ourselves to his service. We thank him for the fruits of our efforts and we renew our yes to him. Our religious life finds its center in the love we have for the heart of Jesus. He's the one who called us and has commissioned us to live and promote holiness, which is lived out in our lives by doing God's will joyfully.
In the church, holiness solves a lot of the problems that we, especially me as a millennial, runs into constantly. But what I really came to find after my experience with Pro Ecclesia Sancta is that holiness is something very practical, actually. The founder of Pro Ecclesia Sancta, Father Pablo Menor, had a very specific set of instructions on how to let God instill holiness in us. It was a very practical thing, and it's not something that makes somebody overly pious. People who are truly, authentically holy are not overly pious pretenders. They're actually people who are very real. They're the people who are real in the way that God made them. That God has this ultimate plan for us, and the people who are holy have realized themselves in a really tangible way.
I think in today's world, young people experience a great conflict within themselves. They experience a great desire to give of themselves, to dedicate their lives to something greater than themselves. Yet, at the same time, they experience a fear, a reluctance, because everything in the culture teaches them to prize, above all, what they take to be their freedom, their independence, their comfort, their ability to do whatever they want at any moment. So there is a fear that by giving oneself to God, that you're going to lose something of yourself, that your life will have less possibilities, less potential, less freedom. But of course, what the world teaches us is not true.
So when I first met the Sisters of Pro Ecclesia Sancta, it struck me right away the way that they lived this ideal of ad maximum, which is how they work for the Lord, serve the Lord in giving their very best to give him glory. And that's really the way that God showed me to give him everything, was to live this ideal of giving our absolute best for God's glory.
As soon as I entered, I found something that I never had in the world: peace of heart. I had the certainty that I was in God's hands, and that so long as I was faithful, he was going to fulfill the great plans I knew he had for me, that he has for each of us.
One of my great joys as a member of Pro Ecclesia Sancta and living and promoting the vocation to holiness is to help others to do the same and to experience the same joy that comes from it, to entrusting their own lives and everything in it to God in order to experience the joy and the life that comes from it.
God is the sculptor and we are his masterpiece, and he chooses the weak of the world to be his instruments of his grace.
And so now the great joy I experience in our different apostolic works is to share with others what I have discovered, which is that the more we give to God, the richer our lives become, for we share more fully in God's life. You see, when we know God, when we obey him, when we love like he does sacrificially, we become like him. And what could be better than that?
Well, when we relocated to the Twin Cities, we were really searching for a community that would help guide us and our children. But I didn't know what was possible until I met the religious here.
What they expected was really simple: holiness. And so we came to this parish and we found this community, which was something that we didn't expect at all. And the message that they brought was incredibly simple, but one that struck a chord in our heart. I think the community here can contribute a great deal to our church right now, especially when it's under attack by, our culture and the things that we really find as Catholics objectionable.
What really impacted me specifically is the truth that they seek. So whether that's holiness, the sacraments, prayer life, all of those things they're basically non-negotiables. And those are things that are centered to who they are, and it's something that I wanted to be centered to who I was. And so that was very interesting.
I think what Pro Ecclesia Sancta really brings to the church today, and what these men and women, the charism, contributes to the church today, is remembering what it means to be part of God's family. They run to confession, they run to the Eucharist in a way that I have not seen in many places. What I see happening here in this place, because of the charism of Pro Ecclesia Sancta, is that people are remembering that call, and they're remembering that they're called to be great saints, and that their yes matters, and that their life's not meant to be something small, it's meant to be something great for God and for the church and for the whole world.
There are, of course, no shortcuts to holiness, no magic pills we could take. But through our founder, the Lord has provided us a path to it, a path through His heart. And so in striving to be what we are called to be, in striving to be Pro Ecclesia Sancta, we live and work for Christ to reign, for His heart to reign.